This is worksheet number 6. The topic is applications of trigonometry. Day 1. We split this worksheet up over 2 days. The first set of problems, the picture will be drawn for you and you find either a missing side or a missing angle in the picture. And then day 2 is where it's a little more challenging, where we have to have you draw the pictures and then solve for the missing side or angle. So here's our first example. We have a picture of some water and land, and we want to find out what is the distance from one side of the land to the other side of the land, and the middle piece is the water. So we want to choose the correct trig function. So we create this right triangle. Here is our given angle theta. And we want to choose the correct trig function in this box over here. You don't need to write the box down. Hopefully now you have those memorized. So we identify the 3 pieces of the triangle. This is my right angle. So this is called side opposite. Then I have, this is side hypotenuse. This is side opposite to the given angle of 48 degrees. And then this is side adjacent. The 2 that we are going to work with is side hypotenuse and side adjacent. So of the 3 trig functions in this box, which one works with adjacent and hypotenuse? Well, it is cosine. So we set up an equation, and we say the cosine of theta, and our theta is our angle, 48 degrees, equals adjacent of 25 over the hypotenuse of x. And then we solve this equation for x. So the first thing we want to do is we want to multiply both sides by x to get that x out of the denominator. So we have x times the cosine of 48 degrees, 25 over x, and then x. We multiply both sides by x. What will cancel out are these 2 x's. Then I'm just going to rewrite the equation and look to see what do we want to reduce next to solve for x. Well, what we want to remove is that cosine of 48 degrees. So we're going to divide both sides by the cosine of 48 degrees. And what will cancel out on that left-hand side is cosine of 48 and cosine of 48. So we're left with x equals 25 over the cosine of 48 degrees. Now we need to use our calculator. Make sure that your calculator is set up in degree mode. So let's just find out what is the cosine of 48 degrees. So enter in cosine 48. This value is 0.66913. Then the numerator is 25. We'd rather have you throw it in your calculator all in one shot. So you would enter in 25 divided by the cosine of 48, finish off the parentheses. X equals 37.36 is your answer. Now let's just check it over here. 25 divided by 0.66913, x equals 37.36. We get the same answer. This one, we just entered it, the one on the left here, we entered it all in one shot in the calculator. All right, let's go on to the second example. You don't need to write the words down, just go ahead and draw the picture. So the picture is saying you are 200 yards from a river. Rather than walking directly to the right, you walk 400 yards along a straight path to the river's edge. Find the acute angle theta between its path and the river's edge, illustrated by this picture on the right. So the triangle has now been given, and we are trying to find the angle theta. So we're going to use inverse trigonometry. And you don't need to write the formulas down in this box. So let's identify the 3 sides to this right triangle. Well, here's my angle theta. This is side opposite. This is side adjacent. This is side hypotenuse. The 2 sides we're working with is 200 yards, which is opposite, and 400 yards, which is the hypotenuse. So of the three trig functions, which one works with opposite and hypotenuse? Well, it's the green one right here. The sine of an angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. So we say the sine of the angle theta equals opposite, which is 200 over 400. When you solve for an angle measure, you use inverse trig. So we say theta equals sine inverse of 200 over 400. Now let's enter it into our calculator. Second sine of 200 divided by 400, theta equals 30 degrees. Next example. Don't need to write the words down, just go ahead and draw the picture. A surveyor is standing 115 feet from the base of the Washington Monument as shown to the right. The surveyor measures the angle of elevation to the top of the monument to be 78.3 degrees. How tall is the Washington Monument? So here's my angle of elevation. This, if you can imagine, is your monument, and its height is unknown, so I just have that letter be y. And then this is the distance from where you are, the person, or surveyor, to the Washington Monument. This is the base distance. And they say that the person is 115 feet away from the Washington Monument. So let's use right triangle trig again. Identify the three sides. This is side opposite. This is side adjacent. This is side hypotenuse. Now we have to choose the correct trig function. The trig function that we're working with is side opposite and side adjacent. So if we come over to our box, which one works with opposite and adjacent? Well, it is down here, the tangent. So we set up our equation, and we say the tangent of 78.3 degrees equals opposite, which is y, over adjacent, 115. And now we solve this equation for y. So we want to get the y by itself. So what we might want to start with is multiply both sides by 115 to remove that denominator. So 115 to both sides. And what happens is, on the right side, the 115s cancel out. So we're left with y equaling 115 times the tangent of 78.3 degrees. So 115 in your calculator times the tangent of 78.3 degrees. Y equals 555.3 feet away is the distance this surveyor is from the Washington Monument. In class, you'll get a worksheet, worksheet number 6. You're going to do the top half of the worksheet, questions 1 through 8. Remember, the pictures will already be drawn for you. You just find the missing angle or the missing side.